Right. Very, very interesting and controversial topic of conversation. Everybody that is listening, because you are very, very aware of the energies around you and within you, because you are able to feel another person's emotions and even experiences by tuning into them, knowing that everything's energy and that you can tune into somebody's energetic frequency and then actually experience what they've experienced. You've all been aware or subject to narcissistic tendencies experienced in another individual, potentially even within yourself. Because the knowledge that you are everything in completion means that you have the ability to create with love as well as to destroy with hate. A full acceptance of all of this in completion is what will bring you into salvation and liberation from anything outside yourself through the liberation within. I'm always very open and honest about my story, and I'd like to share with you something that happened last night where I was almost drawn or pulled or guided towards a conflict between some young lads and a police officer, and what I went about expressing and sharing without an understanding of really what I was doing, to leave the police officer feeling as though he was in the wrong for trying to do what he believed previously to be correct, to enforce his regime or the regime which is given to him and passed down to control those around him, let's say. Everybody does everything they do with the greatest intent for their own preservation at heart. Everybody does whatever they do in order to keep themselves happy, safe, first of all safe, to protect themselves. The ego wants to protect me, to keep me safe, to keep me alive. We then go about on this chain of experiences and events through life, believing that one way of responding is more beneficial than another, so we accordingly respond in the same pre-designated and programmed way going forwards. My experience was with a narcissist go right back to childhood. And I know I'm fully aware that he will listen to these one day once he comes out of prison, having served almost 14 years in prison, but still believing that he knows everything, believing that he is now a Buddhist in nature, but that fuck everybody else. In his own words, why are you trying to help other people? Fuck everyone else, look after yourself. This is narcissism. My father is who has taught me the tendencies of a narcissistic relationship or interaction so that I could understand it, learn from it, and then use it to the benefit of the collective, knowing that everything has a silver lining. Everything has a positive if we look for it, find it, and treat it accordingly. Okay? So what happened last night, I went out for a walk, afternoon, evening walk, down to the marina, to the docks, where I live in Ipswich. And there was a police officer talking to six lads, maybe 18 to 20 years old. What happened, or what I heard, was the lad, the guy, the young man that the officer was talking to was in a state of fear because he had been approached by somebody who was in authority, wearing his authoritative uniform and projecting his authority accordingly. He went to try to run away, and one of his friends said, "Don't run, you've done nothing wrong, stay where you are, don't run away." To which he did. He stopped and he froze. He decided not to run because in a state of fear we either fight or we flight or we freeze. He went to run because he knew that fighting would not be an option, and the third option was then to freeze. I went over and put myself in between the situation and said, "I'm just observing what is taking place." I looked at the police officer right in the eyes and said to him, "I'm just here to observe, to ensure that everything is being done correctly." The lads all then said, "Oh, who are you? Or are you an undercover officer?" And I said, "I'm just here to observe, boys. I'm with you. I represent the people." I represent the people and our state of freedom and our ability to be able to go freely where we choose, to be able to express ourselves, to be able to have fun, communicate and connect with one another. To which they all went ballistic and were jumping on me and loving on me, because I was somebody that had come from outside of that bubble and stepped into that bubble in order to give my perspective of the situation. I then spoke and directed my information to the police officer, looking him in the eyes and telling him that he was here to represent and to serve the people, just as I am, and that we are in a required position to be able to live as freely as possible, because there is nothing else that we can do other than go and hang around, socialize outside. There's nowhere for people to go. And I reminded him that he was once a youngster wanting to enjoy his freedom with his friends. I expressed my perspective, my opinion, because that's all it is, and realized afterwards that what I had done was basically placed him back into being a small child. I had said that I'm here to represent the people. I stand for the people and I speak for the people. This is who I am and this is what I do. He literally physically backed away, lowered his head, and after maybe 30 seconds, he said, "Am I not a person?" To which I said, "Yes, you are." Unfortunately, when you wear that uniform, you're no longer seen as a person. You're seen as an object of control and repression. Police are no longer seen as somebody who serves the people, that are there for the people. They are seen as an instrument of control, an enforcement officer. You're seen as a beacon or an image of repression and control. And that is the first way you will always be seen going forwards. I know you didn't get into this job in order to enforce a regime that you don't fully agree with or understand, but unfortunately, the times that we are in, this is how you are seen. People no longer see you as a person. When they see that uniform, they see the uniform. It reminds them of being controlled, being repressed, and not being able to express themselves freely. He then, and in between all this, he was trying to ask the young man for all these details. It was all being recorded and they were going absolutely ballistic that there was somebody in a state of authority, because what I did is I went over authoritatively and I stood there with love. And I projected love onto all of those lads and onto the officer. But what I did is I projected it onto him, and then I almost put a barrier up and I stopped addressing him. And then I only addressed the lads, and I separated his existence from the situation. There was no conflict. There was nobody going to be arrested. He wasn't going to address me in a way that was trying to repress or to control me. It just wasn't going to exist. So it didn't. He felt this. He felt this disconnect, which was why he was then seeking approval. This is what a narcissist does. They give you a little bit and then they cut it off, leaving you wanting more. So what I did unknowingly was I used what was taught to me as a child to allow for freedom of movement and expression to take place. Afterwards, I did feel for the police officer, because he was trying to gain details from the young man. I said to him, "You don't need to express anything, just don't say anything." And then I spoke to them, disconnected from him, and told them all to go on their way. I just disconnected the officer from being there. I didn't say, "Is it okay for them to leave?" I said, "Lads, it's time that you vacate the premises, carry on doing what you're doing, but just go do it somewhere else. Just don't do it here, because if you do it here, it's like poking a bee's nest or a wasp's nest, and you're going to get stung. Carry on what you're doing, but just carry on somewhere else." He was then left feeling, the officer was left feeling powerless, because it was a disconnect from his power. I gave him no authority over me or over those young men, so he held no authority over me or over those young men. He then said to them, "Okay, you're free to go." After trying to previously gain all their details, they carried on, went off, and I went off in the other way. Then I did go a bit further down the marina, and I stopped and I sent love back to him, back to the officer, because he is in a position where he's trying his best, and he has been educated by a system to believe that controlling people is a way of keeping them safe. He wants to keep people safe. That's why he got into the job. Unfortunately, things have changed slightly, so again, officers are now used as a beacon of enforcement. And in the UK, it's got to the point where Wednesday I had a paramedic swear at me and call me some absurd names because I was walking across an area of land across the park, and there was incidents going on with a helicopter. I was probably 300-400 yards away from the helicopter, cutting across a field to go and do yoga by an area of exercise equipment, and he wound the window down and decided that he housed authority over me and would tell me that I needed to walk all the way around the other way to the park to go to where it was I was going. I said, "It's all good, mate, not to worry, I'm just cutting across the field," to which he swore at me, to which I said, "Excuse me, let's have a conversation," went to walk back towards the ambulance, and he wound the window up and drove off through the park. Jess was incredibly confused, and I just said to her, it's the state of pressure that has been placed on everybody in a position of authority. They have authority pushing down upon them, which they don't particularly agree with, and it becomes heavier and heavier further you go down. And again, there was a police officer there, and I spoke to him and asked him if he believed it was required that a member of the paramedics, the ambulance driver, would actually treat a member of public in that way. He said no, that he'd heard what happened and that it was not acceptable, and did I want to make a complaint? To which I said, "No, I don't, officer. But what I would like for you to take from this is a remembrance that next time somebody from the general public becomes slightly frustrated or angered and responds in a way that is less than mindful, that you think back to this situation and remember that, hang on, everybody sometimes loses their cool and expresses themselves in a way that perhaps they would not mindfully choose to do so." So there is always a silver lining to every single situation. And if we learn how to act accordingly to each person that we come into contact with a place of authority and a conviction to express and to share love in everything we do, with love as always being the foundation for everything that I create, then it comes into a place of awareness and connection for everybody, brother. It's all about unity. Unity within the self, unity within the collective. If there is good, bad within each of us, which there is, because there's good and bad within the universe, light and dark, and we try to deny the negativity, then it sits in the dark and festers and undermines us from the darkness. I do videos about this all the time. Ego. Ego is your greatest and biggest ally if you treat it as such. Treat it as an enemy and it will act accordingly. Treat it as your friend, as you, the physical structure that is you within this realm of existence, and it will act accordingly. It's all about unity. And it comes from a place of love for all of it, as opposed to fear. And that brings me on to what I really wanted to discuss today, as the time ticks over to 1331. Right. And this is going to be, anybody that listens to this part of the video, I ask each and every one of you to look within and to really question if you have done this recently. Because I have in the past. Fucking people in states of fear, putting all these things into their bodies without knowing what it is, covering themselves up without any real understanding of why, just because they're told to. Come on, sheeple, wake up. And it's going to lead me on to a video that I'm going to share later today that I shared on YouTube and was actually removed. I was flagged and blacklisted for sharing it. V-Day, and whether the implication of something into your system that has been manufactured in order to manipulate your DNA, whether it will affect you on a cellular level, and the answer to it. And again, the answer is always love. Okay? I joined a group, a freedom of movement and travel group on Facebook, through the recommendation of my ex-girlfriend, who, interestingly enough, she phoned me up for relationship advice 10 days ago or so, a couple of weeks ago, week ago. We went to visit her when there was a separation between her and her partner, to go and spend time together, because my love is always there. Just because we've been in a relationship doesn't mean I love you any less because the relationship came to an end. I'm always there. I love each and every person equally and unconditionally, just as I love that officer equally and unconditionally to the boys, to myself. Okay? There's a lot of people that are very anti-mask, anti-vaccine. There's a lot of people that are very pro-mask, pro-vaccine. People that want them to wear masks and to have the because I know it's being listened to and monitored, and if you say certain words, all of a sudden, implications, technical faults, it's shut down, the video doesn't work anymore. Oh, really? We see you, and we know exactly what's going on. If you are pro, it's because you're in a state of fear about not having it, about not wearing it. If you do not wish to have it, it's because you're in a state of fear about having it. Either way, what they have done is they've separated us yet again. This time it's not because of the colour of our skin or our race or our religion. It's because of something they wish to implement within us. Okay? But it's causing separation once again. Pro, anti. Two sides. Both being controlled and manipulated with fear. Where's the love? I love you for your choice and for your expression of self. I love you for your choice and your expression of self. It's frustrating to see two people that both require and want exactly the same thing, which is to feel safe and maybe even loved, making their decisions based upon the information that they have at their disposal, making the best decision they can with the information they have at their disposal, as you make the best decision you can with the information you have at your disposal. It's not their fault. And it's not even the system's fault, because again, it's information passed down generation after generation. It's energetic locks that keep us in place, keep us victimized, keep us separated. You don't change it by acting within it. You change it by changing it. You change it by separating from it, by taking a wider and higher perspective and being able to just choose to be love. I love you for wanting to cover yourself, to keep yourself safe, and for choosing to take something into your beautiful natural state of being that maybe you don't fully understand what it is, but you're acting with your best interest and the interest of those around you. I love you for your choice, for your freedom of choice. Whether it's been manipulated and controlled, it's still your choice, as it's all a choice. And for those people that don't want anything put inside them, which perfectly rational to myself, but if you're doing it from a state of fear, not wanting something to be put into your body that will then change your body at a molecular level, then the video that I'm going to share later today is specifically for you. It's on the other channel. It's on the One World United Instagram channel. I put it on YouTube, it got shut down. I put it on Facebook, it got taken off. And as I say, I wasn't allowed to share lives or anything for quite a period of time. I then went into a state of fear. Oh no, Cosmic Surfer shouldn't share it, because Cosmic Surfer is all about love. And if I share something that shuts the channel down, then I'm unable to express love. What am I doing? I'm coming from a place of fear. So, interestingly enough, the post will be the 1111 post. It will be 111 on Instagram. And I'll share it this evening. And it's about choosing everything with love. Blessing everything you ingest with love, everything that you experience with love. You can eat something that is incredibly bad for you. You can eat a fast food burger, and turning that molecular structure of that energy into love, you're ingesting love. It's all energy. That's all it is. This information is gifted to me by something outside of me. New beginnings. It is. It's time for a fresh start. It's time to separate from the desire to need to be any other way than we are. Whoever you want to be, whatever you want to do, express yourself freely. And that's the main thing at the moment, is the closure of the throat chakra within the collective. Being able to express our opinions without feeling as though we're going to upset somebody else in a relationship or within ourselves. In relationships, it's all about compromise. And if you don't feel that you can share your truth with somebody you love, then you can't share your truth with somebody you love, because they're just an expression of yourself. I would suggest, as I do in my relationship, that you have a time or a place where you can sit down and separate, take off egos. This is nothing to do with you, ego. I love you and I thank you for keeping me safe. But this information is to be released, to be shared. Because if you're a body containing energy, a vessel containing water, which you are, and that water has pollutants in it, because there is something which comes in and actually gets stuck within it, you have thousands of thoughts every moment of every day. When one becomes stuck, and you feel as though you need to release it, to speak it, it needs to be released and spoken. Otherwise, it will be housed in the body and it will become putrid and detrimental within the body. Okay? Not knowing what you are choosing is more of an implication than anything else, to be honest. Because if you take something, if somebody says, here, take this tablet. Take this tablet. We don't really know what it's going to do to you, but we think it's probably best that you take it to keep you safe and so you can go out to the pub and go on holiday. Okay? We don't really know, but it's all good. And you take that, and then all of the news, positive, negative, you're not really sure about the decision you've made and whether it's the right one. Then all they need to do is then go, oops, sorry, actually what you took, that tablet, yeah, it had some implications and you're all going to die now. If you believe everything that you listen to, then act accordingly, then all of a sudden everyone drops down dead. If you know that you override everything that is physical because you are the energy that it is itself, then there's nothing that can harm you or hurt you. You are eternal. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are the universe experiencing itself. Okay? There's nothing that's outside you that can affect you. Drink poison. Turn the poison into love as you drink it, and you will be drinking love, the love that you are, knowing that nothing but light can exist within the light. Nothing but light can exist within the light. It's only when there becomes fragmentation and separation that then shadows can be cast behind those separate forms of self. When we're unified in love, there is no separation, there is no shadow. Because we are the light that shines from outside and within thyself. Okay? This is something that needed to be expressed, needed to be shared. Hey everyone. On a more joyful and positive note, everything is coming together amazingly. My manifestation abilities are mind-boggling, to say the least. And as a story, let me express this amazing story, okay? I decided, my physical structure of self decided that I would like to get a dog about 6 months ago. So I put the intention out to the universe that I would like a dog. I was requesting, let's say, just as though you put an order in when you go to a restaurant for a meal. You give the waiter your order and then you sit back and relax and you wait for your meal to come. You don't try and control the way the chef is cooking the meal, the exact ingredients that he is putting into it, or the exact flavour of the recipe that you will receive. You don't. And you don't run after the meal, you just sit there and wait for it. Okay? I put out the intention to bring into creation the manifestation, and it was literally Oh, even to the day, actually. The date. So I put the intention out to manifest a dog. A Weinorama with blue eyes, bluey grey eyes, named Blue. Saturday just gone, my brother phones me up and says, I've just got a dog. I've got a dog. It's a Weinorama. And he sent me a picture, and I looked into the eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul. Okay? And they never tell a lie. I looked into the dog's eyes, and I knew that that was my dog, my physical egoic I, that I had brought that into creation. We, But again, using the label I allows for a better understanding of it. But I know that we all co-create everything. That was the creation that I had brought into existence. I showed Jess, and interestingly, on Saturday, when we went to visit my ex to spend the evening with her, I expressed the story to her and how amazing it was, and that it felt as though maybe he had received the dog to pass it on to me. And that was the manifestation chain of creation, that the dog was born, that it was bought by one of my brother's friends who was allergic to it, who passed it to him, who was going to pass it to me. And I said, I know it's my dog if its name is Blue. We went round Sunday to go visit them, and I asked my brother, what's its name? And he said Blue, and I went ballistic. It's like jumping around like, yes! Fuck! That is the power of intent when love is the fuel that drives it. The world that we are creating together today is fueled by love and the excitement to experience it. It makes me want to cry, to release the energy that is housed and frustrated within me, within us. We are so, so close. And I ask you to remain focused on the love that you are and emitting that love to everyone around you. So with the dog, I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want to create conflict or denial with it. And I said to them, this is my dog. I knew it as soon as I saw it. This is my dog. I've created the manifestation of this dog. My brother took the information and held it for about 20 seconds. And he said, yes, you have. And you've manifested this dog for Bear, for my nephew. My nephew has a lot of energy, and without labeling things, because there is no labels, he has a lot of energy. When I'm with him, I bring him into a calm state of being. He'll fall asleep with me because I have a way of being able to just ground and calm and just control my voice and my rhythm and my breath and bring that calm state of being into existence in the external as well as the internal. And I said a while ago that I would love to have him once a week to give them time to themselves. And it's not been something that has come to be. And he said, you've manifested Blue so that he can actually ground Bear. That within the environment, within their house, the whole dynamics changed. My brother jumps out of bed every morning excited to take the dog for a walk. He's grounded, he's more chilled, he's more excited, and Bear has changed. Every single element of who he is has changed. He has an understanding of control of his actions instead of just being very bull in a china shop-ish. He has an awareness, he has a more grounded understanding of who he is. I'll come to that in a minute, brother. And it means to me, when he said that it's like an egg being cracked on your head and it tinkles down, and that electric feeling of confirmation. And I was like, yes. So there is my dog, my egoic physical I. In truth, it's me. It's part of me, as you are part of me, as I am part of you. It's part of me that I've created to fulfill a role that I am not currently focused on being more positioned in time to experience, let's say. It's not that I can't. I could create the space in time to go and see my nephew every week, and I'm choosing to use that time elsewhere. So because of the desire to have a more grounded and calm environment for him and for my brother and his wife, I've manifested that dog, the exact dog that I asked for, just as ordering that meal. And when the meal comes over and it's placed in front of somebody else, and they actually enjoy the flavours of that meal more so than myself, I know that the meal that is brought to me will be the one that is most beneficial for me. It was one of those reminders and confirmations of the ability that we house to be able to actually bring into the physical that which we are. It's all with love. Manifest it with love. Love for yourself and everybody else, not an individual desire for control or wealth or anything. It's all about the collective as you flow it through. You be a tap, a channel. Water flows through the tap to everybody around the tap. If you restrict the flow of water, it restricts the flow to everyone. If you restrict the flow of love to somebody outside of yourself because they are a Karen or a pro this or an anti that, you're restricting the flow of love through yourself. When you allow the flow to pass through you freely, everybody benefits, including yourself. And the more that you open yourself up to the infinite potential that you are, as though you're a funnel and you're opening up the funnel, the more rainwater you can collect and the more water you can flow through you. You just have a large reservoir of it. It's always there. It's always flowing through with a conscious awareness that it's always there. You turn the tap on, you expect water to come out because you're used to it happening. If you turn the tap on and water didn't come out, you'd expect water not to come out. If you've never experienced love as a free-flowing, unconditional state of being, you don't expect to experience it outside yourself. So you come back into realization that you create it all. You reconnect to the love in yourself through understanding of the self, which really is an acceptance. Forgiveness, understanding, it's just acceptance. You accept it, knowing that the darker days of life allow us to see the stars shine and appreciate the sunny days more. That without the rain, there would be no rainbows, no water to drink, no life to experience, without the sustainability of it, with all of the elements in existence. And to answer a question. Let's have a look on here actually. No, I don't want to end. Okay, so the chat's been going on. Apologies for not responding. It freezes at the top. Fired up. Thank you all. Yeah, the dog is as a fragment of me. And it is. It's just, he said it's the most, Weimaranas are supposed to be very, very active, very boisterous almost, completely full of energy. It's the most chilled dog I've ever seen. It's so chilled. Of course. Send me a message, Trish. I'm always here. Always. And it's always love that is the answer to it all. So somebody's asked if being vegan means that you're more awakened than and more of a spiritual being, let's say, than if you eat meat. Food affects, in some ways, all of this journey. It does because of one reason. I would ask you why anything and everything that we experience has any form of control. Control being the wrong word. it all starts and ends with you. It's the intention of what you do which brings into a manifestation and realization of what you then experience. Okay, if you believe that stopping eating meat will make you more spiritually awakened, then guess what? If you believe that praying to crystals will bring you into a more spiritual way of alignment, then what's it going to do? The reason that all these things work is because of the collective belief housed within them. Upon our journey of awakening, we go through a connection to something that we haven't ever experienced before, but with a deep knowledge that this is who I am. This is what was missing. When I first connected to this truth, I explained it to people as though I've found God. The story of I've found God and my life's changed and God's outside me and answers my prayers. I found God, but he's not outside me, and he's not even a he. He's inside me. It's me. And it's not this physical structure of me, this human Cain that is male and X, Y, and Z. It's the eternal me that is infinite and everything in completion. The reason it works is because of your belief within it. Beliefs which are passed down generation after generation, with love as the core foundation that all religions and all positive affirmational stories being built from. If you believe it, you will achieve it. If you believe it, you will achieve it. Believe yourself to be a victim, you will achieve being a victim. Believe yourself to be a creator, you will achieve being a creator. Either way, you're creating it, because you are the creator. Oh, poor me, I'm a victim. Okay, I see that story. I see that program. If you believe it, you're not going to experience anything else other than it. I've done a video on this, Realms of Existence. Actually, it's more of the... it's about an hour and a half rant that I did on existence from the start, from the beginning, the Big Bang, to completion, to the end, where it loops back again. On the podcast. It's an episode of the podcast that I've recorded for the new series, A Higher Frequency. It's episode number 2. It's on YouTube, but I haven't yet shared it as a podcast. Something else. Just open myself up and just channel through. And if I tried again to control the way that those ingredients were brought together, no way. No way. I couldn't do it. It's just allowing it to flow through me. The reason drinking purified water works is because you believe it. Yes, there are less elements which are negative and heavy and repressive within it, so it is naturally more beneficial to the body. Not eating meat is more natural and beneficial to the body because the ingestion and digestion of animal products to then create proteins from goes through a larger process which is actually more draining to the body energetically than just ingesting vegetation and turning that vegetation into protein. You eat a banana and the ingredients from that banana are broken down and used to make whatever from. It's an easier process than eating a burger, than eating a part of a dead animal, and breaking down that to then distribute the information from. It's heavier, it's denser. It goes through a more resistive process, let's say. But you can override it all again through your intent. You can drink poison and be fine because you believe it's so. The reason that, in religion, we pray to God. In spirituality, we pray or we ask beings, higher beings, light beings, angels, guides, to answer our prayers, as it were. We can survive without eating, yes. We are energy, and that single breath in and out is the reminder of this truth in each and every moment. There are beings, documented beings, within this realm, within this planet, humans, that don't eat. Because they don't need to. They harness the universal pranic life force energy from around them just simply by breathing. There are beings that do not exist within a physical structure, light beings. that have separate awareness and consciousness to the collective, that are able to experience everything and anything they choose to. There are different levels of existence and creative potential. 1s, 2s, and 3s, let's say. 1 can harness the energy from a planet to then be able to sustain themselves with the life force energy around them. 2 can actually take the energy from a sun and change it and turn it into whatever they wish to. Again, it's just energy vibrating at different frequencies. Level 3 would be a race that is able to actually harness the energy from an entire galaxy. Solar system, maybe, and then galaxy. No. Who knows? Who truly knows? Is what resonates with you. Nothing can ever be proven because of the existence of infinity. You could test something to infinite minus 1 times and it would always be accordingly one particular way. You test it 1 time and it goes the other way and it throws the whole equation out of the water. Gravity exists because we believe it does. We've been told that gravity is a force which keeps us grounded to this earth, so therefore gravity is the force which keeps us grounded to this earth. In religion, again, you're told that you pray to God, just like asking for that meal. You pray to God, and then God will come and bring it to you. You don't try and control the way God does it, because God is an element that is higher and far more expansive in potential awareness than you are. But that's still giving away your creative power to something outside of yourself. God is you, and he will answer your prayers, within the human construct of it, because you believe it so. If you didn't believe God will answer your prayers because you're a bad person, then he's not going to. It's easy, it's simple. It's easier to ask an angel to bring you signs and awareness, protection, guidance, than it is to ask part of yourself that is yourself for the same guidance and protection. That angel is you, as I am you, as it's all you. And whatever you believe within your mind and hold as your core foundational frequency, which is why the education of our children is the most important thing that needs to be changed, being the frequency that I connect to when I think of the way that we have been channeled and easier to control through fear again. Fear is the way that we are all controlled. Always. And that is why we do what we do. That is why I've joined this beautiful charity, Co-Creation Global, with the drive and the vision of creating a world of true harmony for all. Conscious parenting, conscious schooling, with actually last week's video on YouTube being about conscious parenting. So any parents listening, please go over to YouTube, Kosmic Surfer, and watch the conscious parenting video. This week's is about twin flames, because again, people like what they like. You know, I can do a video about twin flames and infuse information about something completely separate into it, which is really just the empowerment of the self. I'm empowering myself. Every time I share and express information, I channel it through me and embody that vibration. If I don't share it, I don't get the next piece of information. Again, turn the tap off. It's my water. I'm not sharing it. I'm keeping it. It's my energy. It's my love. It's my money. I'm not sharing my money. I'm keeping it. Well, you're not going to get any more then, are you? Because you're not going to allow it to flow through you. Just open the channel, open the flow. Don't be too mindful of what comes in or out, but be mindful of your reaction to it. If you act in a certain way, every time, again, water's flowing, water's flowing, water's flowing, water's flowing, down the river, flowing, flowing, flowing. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh, stop, what's that? Something's got caught. Something's making me feel heavy, restricted. Why? That's what you want to be mindful of. Why a certain thing that somebody does or says to you causes you frustration. Why? Ask yourself why. Always. The first question. The question I always used to ask at school, which is why I was not appreciated so much as a student. But why? Because I told you to. Yeah, but why? Because I say so. Yeah, okay. I hear that, but why? Explain to me the reason why, so that I can then have a little think and see if it resonates and vibrates with me and act accordingly. You can't tell me to go left and then tell me to go right and expect me to do what you're telling me to. Those days are gone, which is what's happening at the moment. In every situation, in every placement around the world. Go left, go right, stay in, go out. Separation. No, come together. Masks, they don't really do anything. Injections, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Oh, hello. I don't really know. But just do as I say, and then we can blame it on the fact that I don't really know. Seriously now, people, what? Come on. Have a blumbering idiot tell you what to do and go, well, yeah, he's got the suit on. He's wearing a suit. Just as that police officer. He's wearing the outfit. He's wearing the uniform. So we should do what he says. No. We just actually disconnect the existence of that uniform. We talk to the person, the soul behind it. We disconnect the actual representation of the egoic masks of separation, and we look at people in the eyes and remind ourselves that they are us. A placement within us that is in a state of fear, and trying the best that they can, that we can, that I can, to keep myself safe. I love you. And that's it. I love you. And that's it. Done. Nothing else to be said. Once everyone comes into this realization, there is no battles. There is no wars to be won. It's not that we need to overthrow the repressor. We just need to accept that there is part of us that wishes to repress us, to keep us more controlled, to keep us more manageable, to keep us more safe. Just as there is part of us that wants to have all of the cake and eat it all to ourselves, there is part of us that wishes to share all of the cake with everybody else and leave ourselves without any. Everything that exists exists within you, as you are everything that exists. Come into a full embodiment of this realization, knowing that everything is a representation of the internal experienced externally. That's it. Anytime we feel less than, limited, lowered, anytime we feel frustrated or victimized or anything other than just that flow, it's just because there is this thing that's been attached to it, the mind. The mind which can be easily manipulated. The mind which is the greatest tool to experience any of it. And that once we exit any attachment to, we realize that there is nothing at all. It's all in the mind, all of it. And without the mind, there is nothing. The past is a memory of the mind, in the mind. The present moment, the gift of now, is being experienced, energy vibrating at different frequencies that we can perceive through our senses, that we then allow for the electrical signals to pass through our mind, firing neurons, connecting pathways of old, and seeing that, hang on, if I touch this, I expect it to feel a certain way, so it does. I expect that person to act a certain way, so they do, because that's what I'm looking for. Every time we can change our mind's attachment to something, every time we can look at a bigger picture or separate from a certain expectation, we allow for a whole new potential of experience to be experienced. Please, everything is free. I own nothing. It's yours. This is you. I am you. I'm just expressing my unique interpretation of the same information through me to you. It's yours. Share. Share the love as far and as wide as possible. The more people that remember who they are, the more we remember ourselves, the more that everywhere we go we will see ourselves. And that's what I keep saying to everybody here. Where before you'd go out and there'd be 100 people and it was difficult to see yourself amongst the crowd. Now when everybody that is in a required position of staying safe is staying safe indoors, those people that are outside living through their own free will, it's easier to see yourself where you go. Where there was 100, now there's only 10, but those are your 10. Those are the 10 that are you, that you can grow accordingly and reflect upon, bringing that energy and frequency up within the collective to then allow for it to overflow again to everybody else. When we get to that tipping point, those that are unable to actually break free from the bubble, the bubbles of safety that we're being asked to stay within, the bubbles of fear, they are unable to do anything other than stay within that bubble, because that is the character that they have been cast within their own play as well as within ours. But when the game comes to completion, the whole thing starts again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And without the mind, there is no matter. Energy vibrating at different frequencies. It's just we experience it with the mind as matter, physical structure. It's just energy vibrating, scientifically, matter-of-factually, spiritually. It's only the mind that incorporates any degree of separation from this matter to that matter. And again, projecting yourself to the future with a desire to control an unknown event in the future. If it matters to you, if you think, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, that thing that really matters. Oh, no, it matters. What am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, nothing that really matters. I'm just going to go with the flow, see what happens. Nice. This was needed. A nice release. A nice expression of truth. Of the truth that is infinite. And the truth that is unique to me. Because again, it's just energy experienced and processed accordingly. If you go into a situation and you say to somebody, I think this is true. What do you think? You're basically saying to them, I don't really know what I'm talking about. And I'm asking you now to actually look inside of yourself and question yourself to see if you believe that what you think is true or not. You're causing massive amounts of internal and external frustration and repression. The person's going to go, what are you on about? Don't come near me. You don't make me feel good. If you walk into a situation, just as I did with that police officer, and say, I'm here to represent the people, this young man is not going to be getting any form of negativity from you. He doesn't need to have a criminal record just for being outside freely expressing himself. Lads, you go over here. There, it's done. I did that because I placed myself in the position to do that. I will be one of the main key factors and foundation layers of the world that we are co-creating, the world of equality for all going forwards, because I have placed myself in that position. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to do it for you. There is no one else. And without you, my friend, my brother, my sister, your divine being, without you there is nothing at all. Because without you there is nothing to experience. Oh, that person's the most important in my life, my children or my partner or my parents. Okay, but without you, you wouldn't be able to experience them. So, to leave a closure, I would like for you to start to treat yourself as the most important person in every situation. If you wish to express yourself, Master Builder, Master Alchemist, the head of the snake, Superman embodied, the modern day wizard, however many labels that people have gifted me over time. I take them all. Whatever character that you wish me to play, I will play it for you. You wish me to play the liberator? Here I am. You wish me to play your oppressor? I do so, accordingly. I'm just a mirror, here to reflect whatever you wish to experience for your liberation, your development of the self, and connection back to the infinite truth of who you are. Whatever path you're taking towards that destination is perfect. Those all rivers lead back to the ocean. Treat everybody with love. Treat everybody with acceptance and compassion. Treat everybody as though they're the most important person in existence. This conversation, as I am looking into the camera, all of my attention, all of my energy, all of my focus is here. I'm not thinking about anything. That's the truth. I'm just expressing, I'm just flowing, which is why it works. When I'm with somebody in the physical, they're the most important person to me, and I'm with them. I'm not somewhere else. What's that? Yeah, what? Yeah, what am I doing tomorrow? What are we saying? Like, what? Yeah, what? None of that. You. When I go to the shops, how are you? How's your day? And people find it quite bizarre because they're not used to that degree of attention. Just like, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just doing shopping. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. But how are you? Really, how are you? Yeah, I know, I'm okay. This, that. Okay, what about this? What about that? It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that just that small amount of attention that you give to somebody else, how it changes their entire day. And when you're on your own, the most important person, it's you. Look at yourself in the mirror every day whilst you're brushing your teeth. Say, I love you, me. I love you, me. Thank you for everything you've done, for everything you've experienced, for everything you have been part of to bring us to this moment of now. And I'm excited to experience everything that we will experience together through the co-creation of it going forwards. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. Life is a fucking gift when you look at it in such a way. Or it can be misery and repression. Every single day. My favourite story. When the game ends, it begins once again. The shit of life. Carry it around with you, weighing you down, making you smell, creating your own personal version of hell. Sweep it under the rug. It's the way I was taught. Out of sight, out of mind. Pretend it doesn't exist. But there it will sit, rot and fester, creating a hostile and putrid environment for anyone that wishes to come near. Or you take that shit that you've collected through your entire life and all those past lives, and you take it outside and you dig it into the garden of your mind and use it as fertilizer to grow in the flowers, to grow the flowers within, even more big and beautiful than you could have done without that shit. It's the acceptance of it, not the denial or repression of it. No, fuck you, shit. I'm going to carry you. Fuck you. Ugh. I'm going to carry you trying to run away from you. Actually, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to put the bag down, open it up, go, fucking hell, there's a lot of shit in there. Think about all those beautiful vegetables, those beautiful flowers, those beautiful buds that I can grow in that shit. Shitty shit. The more you say it, the less attachment there is to it. And the more that you express your stories of old, the less attachment that there is to it, and the more it becomes a story. And the exhalation, yes. The acceptance of it all. You accept the breath in. Oh no, that's my breath. No, I'm not letting it go. I'm going to hold that breath. Oh, well, I was the one that inhaled it, so I'm keeping it. It's my breath. My breath. You need to exhale, you need to release, you need to surrender to it all in order to be able to experience anything at all. Surrender and allow, accept the inhalation and the exhalation. Knowing that when you exhale, it means that you can experience the inhale once again. The waves of existence, the ups and downs. And that is why, you beautiful souls, we surf those waves. Cosmic surfers. Now and together. Now and together. Now and forever. We are in this together. United we stand. One people on this one earth, governed by one love. United we stand. And together we rise. Surrender to love. And realize that we're already home. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. Can you feel that magic? I can. I've been separated for a while, as I know we all have. And sometimes we need to go into separation, into the darkness once again, to remind us of why we are here. And it's already done. I love you all. Anybody that wishes to connect, please do so. Head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. I'd love to actually get the subscription base up on YouTube so that I can start to allow for choice of whether I advertise on there or not, which I don't wish to. But on the Mainstream Meditation channel, because it's doing very well, but because I don't have enough subscribers to choose whether I advertise or not, YouTube, within their rights of distribution, can advertise on my videos midstream without me being able to do anything about it. So in the middle of an inner child integrative meditation where somebody's just getting to that point, then an advert pops up and destroys the whole bubble. But again, it's all perfect as it is. And without that information, I would not have realized quite how manipulative that the bigger organizations are, which again is just more fuel for the fire. Together. Forever. Namaste. Boom. I love you too. Speak later. Love you, Chelsea.
Thank you for who you are and all you continue to do. Thank you for continuing to gain the knowledge, the wisdom, for continuing to look within and doing the work required to bring freedom to not only yourself, but everybody else. As you continue to do the work, as you continue to expand your consciousness and awareness, you continue the expansion and awareness of everybody else, helping others to break free from that limitation and illusion of old. Continue to support me in all I do. Continue to grow the movement and continue to grow yourself.